Hi everybody, welcome to the video surprise of the day. Today's special video is on the Sony soundbar HT-ST7. This soundbar and subwoofer combination right over here, as you can see, I put it right next to each other, gives a total wattage of 450 watts of power. It's a 7.1 channel system that has 7 mid-range drivers and 2 tweeters. Okay, wireless down firing passive radiator. There's also 3 HDMI in and 1 out. Digital input, 2 optical and 1 coaxial. There's also an analog input. This one also supports the Bluetooth feature, which is a plus. One of the reasons I purchased it. And this probably retails for around $1,300 MSRP. And it's probably meant for like 46-inch and above TVs. So this is currently the high end of the Sony product line. I'm going to cycle through this video and show you what I like about it, what are the negatives, and also what my recommendation is. And also it comes with this great remote. Let's see if I could squeeze it in the picture here. Okay, turn on the unit, hit the green key on the remote. I can't really show in the picture. Alright, you see the TV mode. That's the input mode. You actually could hit the input again. You got the HDMI mode. HDMI 2, hit it again. HDMI 3. You also get the optical mode. Coaxial. Analog. Bluetooth. There's also a mute feature. You turn on the mute feature, the red light comes on. You turn it off. Bluetooth, the TV mode. Remember the Bluetooth mode? Also, you get to see the nice blue LED. If you can see it, there it is on the left side, next to the Bluetooth. And so you can see that in the video. There's also a volume control, positive and negative. There's also different sound modes you can have. You got movie mode, music mode, football modes, more for stadium. Standard mode. Okay, on the voice you can actually have level 1, level 2, and level 3. So I'm going to go into detail on that. There's also different functions to control the subwoofer. There's also a different menu to go into the equalizer, etc. So the unit actually works really well. If you're playing movies, you can turn really loud, or you're watching TVs. The Bluetooth is not really that great overall, just my opinion, of course, because the sound seems to have been compressed, and part of it is basically cut off a little bit. That's how it sounds like. The subwoofer is really beautiful, and there's a nice little green LED when it's on, and when you turn it off, you know, the red LED shows up. I'm going to add a little sound bite to it and see, give you an idea how it sounds like.
What did you think his name was Douglas? I didn't hear the... You're right, Marlene. There's no chance of dashing brain and regurgitating brain.
The remote, as I mentioned earlier, there's a power button, then there's the input I mentioned earlier. Then there's the muting, the positive and negative for the volume, the sound mode, the voice, and there's a hidden feature subset inside that you have to pull the bar open, just stretch it out. And these are the features that I have it on there. Display subwoofer tones, you can increase and decrease the subwoofer tones. There's another menu to go into the system to change the equalizer and such. So let's take a look at that. So this is the soundbar manual that comes with the system. So all the items you see here, like the subwoofer, the grill, subwoofer, remote, optical cable, IR blaster, infrared blaster. So basically if you put it in front of your TV, you might want to set this thing up, otherwise you don't need it. There's also the stand, which is the triangle feet. Those are really meant to angle the soundbar to get that nice sound and look of the system. And also there's a wireless transceiver. You must install the wireless transceiver to have a wireless connection between the subwoofer and the soundbar. So that's something to keep in mind. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because you don't need to know how to. Over here, you also see that in the back of the unit, there's also optical in that you could set up to the TV. So that's a connection there. There's a analog in, coaxial, the HDMI out. See, there's one out to the TV and 3 in. So that's the part over here. This is the picture for the one that's coming out to your TV. These are the ones you're feeding in. Like in my case, I hooked the Blu-ray in to one of these ports and coming out to the TV. Otherwise, you won't get any picture. Okay, so basically here's more on the setup. I guess don't need to go in that much detail, but you can read the book if you're interested in the product. And the nice feature about this one is you actually could also control the buttons on top of the unit to turn it off or to turn it on, to increase the volume, decrease the volume, to pair Bluetooth. You can hit the button. So those are the buttons on top of the unit. If you want to pair your soundbar to say to your computer or phone, your wireless phone that is. You also could select to different modes. There's a lot of sound effects that you could do in this unit, so not very limited in a way. You do have a lot of options to play around with. There's the movie mode, more suitable for movies, of course. Music, suitable for music, football, stadium type of feeling, and just a standard TV mode that you see over here. There's also a subwoofer tone that you have a crisp bass with tone number 1, tone number 2, bass tone, that's the default. Tone number 3, more dynamic bass tone. I actually like number 3, so when I tried it out, I think number 3 works better. And again, here's the buttons that you could actually control on the top. Nice Bluetooth LED lights up. If you were to say, hey, enable the Bluetooth, you can see the Bluetooth symbol, like a blue LED light. It works great. You also could tap it. I haven't tried to tap it, the NFC feature. So that's basically supported as well in this unit. Then again here, so you basically get the power on the left, number 1. Then you get the Bluetooth. Then you get the input, the third button. And number 4, there's 4th and 5th buttons are really controlling the volume. It's a beautiful unit, And of course the NFC feature on number 5 in this thing over here. There's also a subwoofer that you can actually enable or turn it off. The secure link is number 3 over here. There's also a power button, and there's a nice LED. Red means off, green means on. So on the remote, you probably could see most of the items I discussed earlier. It's right over here. So basically, input, the muting, the volume, the sound mode. Okay, that we discussed on channel page 10 over here. So let's jump in the back a little bit. Music, movie, football. Those are different sound modes that you can have. Okay. Here, there's also adjustments. If you look on the menu, on the menu bar, you can also adjust the menu for different levels. So dynamic range control, Dolby digital sound. You could actually control. There's a lot of features you can play with. The audio, you can adjust the sound when the image and sound are not sync. There's also a dual mode. You can enjoy multiplex broadcast sound of Dolby digital audio. There's also a harmonic equalizer mode that you could actually turn on as well too. It also reduces, there's an AAV mode, advanced audio volume mode that you could set up. There's also HDMI that you could control different features with it as well too. And you could play with the Bluetooth, or you could disable it. And lastly, the system, you can actually have auto standby mode enabled or off, infrared repeater, secure link connection not established. You could actually start experimenting with that one. So overall, it's a really good unit with a lot of features. It works really well for me. For the price point, it's excellent. I'm sure there's other competitors out there. So my recommendation is, before you buy this one, still you want to take a look at it. Go into the stores, kick the tires on it, and see if this is for you. Definitely works great for movies. Bluetooth is so and so. Space, well, it saves a lot, and it's not 100% 7.1 surround sound, even though it's claimed to be surround sound. So that's something you consider. 7.1, I still think you have a component system that really has a lot of speakers, so that probably works best. But my room is not that big either, so this will have to do. So okay, thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.